It's going down. Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return. And double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And welcome to another series of It's Going Down, being brought to you by the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. It says Russia overtakes Saudi Arabia as China's top oil supplier. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this article. I'm not gonna read all of it, or maybe I will, since it's not like 27,000 paragraphs worth of information. Then I'll continue on from there. Chinese imports of Russian crude surged by 55% in May as the world's biggest importer of oil took advantage of major discounts. Russia has now overtaken Saudi Arabia as China's top oil supplier. While Russia is sending lots more crude to Asia, it is unlikely that the Asian market can absorb all 4 million barrels that were going to Europe. China imported a record volume of Russian crude in May, with rivals surging by 55% to nearly 2 million barrels per day. This has made Russia the top oil supplier to the world's leading crude importer, putting it ahead of Saudi Arabia for the first time in a year and a half. A record volume of cheap Russian oil, which sells at steep discounts to crude from other countries, made its way to Chinese refiners last month, according to figures from China's General Administration of Customs, cited by Reuters. It says China imported 1.9 million BPD of Russian oil in May, up by 55% from May last year, and up from 1.59 million barrels per day of Russian oil imported in April 2022, the data showed. The high purchases of Russian oil outstripped supply from Saudi Arabia, Russia's partner in the OPEC deal. Chinese imports of Saudi crude averaged 1.84 million BPD in May, up by 9% compared to May 2021, but down from 2.7 million BPD imported in April, according to the data cited by Reuters. Thanks to the increased shipments of cheap crude to China, Russia became the top supplier to the world's biggest oil importer for the first time in 19 months, per Reuters estimates. Russia has been increasingly selling its crude to China and India after Western buyers shunned Russian oil, and the EU, Russia's top oil customer before the war in Ukraine, prepares to launch a phased-out embargo on seaborne imports from Russia by the end of the year. Russia is also estimated to have overtaken Saudi Arabia to become India's second largest supplier of crude oil in May. The average daily rate of Russian oil exports to India stood at 819,000 barrels last month compared to 277,000 barrels per day in April. Okay, half of Russia's crude is headed to East Asia. This compares to 75% of Russia's oil. One moment.
Hey, OG.
Good morning.
Any aspirin in here?
No, not that I know of.
Oh, okay. Say no more. Appreciate it anyway, though.
Yep. Sorry about that. I'm currently at my job, so yeah, I may get somebody who may walk in here or may not, but continuing on, it says half of Russia's crude is headed to East Asia. This compares to 75% of Russia's oil exports, which were being shipped to Europe earlier this year. Alexander Dyukov, chief executive of Gazprom Neft, said last week. Still, analysts doubt that the Asian market can absorb all 4 million barrels per day of oil that Russia was sending to Europe before the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Right, and if you know anything about, Russia invading Ukraine, or you would know that the United States and NATO had put sanctions on Russia over this whole Ukraine invasion situation. Okay? So because of these sanctions, it led to Russia no longer exporting oil or gas to Europe. We know that Europe is a country that heavily depends on Russia when it comes to gas and oil. Now, let me say this. Another reason why, these Edomite countries, such as America, Russia, Europe, the reason why they're so rich in oil is because it really goes back to the book of Genesis. Okay? When their forefather Esau was blessed with the fatness of the earth. That is why, America can mass produce gas and oil and export it to other countries. Same thing with Russia. Okay? Now, Europe or the European Union, not so fortunate. Europe was getting its gas and its oil from Russia before this whole Russia-Ukraine situation. Okay? But, what are we seeing now? We're seeing Russia as becoming the #1 exporter of oil and gas to Asia. Why? Because it really goes back to their blessing, the blessing of their forefather Esau. One moment, I gotta let somebody through this gate here. So that's pretty much all I wanted to, pretty much wanted to say there. With that, I'm going to say Shalom is on to the next one.